The road to WrestleMania 42 is spiraling into chaos as WrestleVotes is reporting panic inside WWE as Triple H scrambles to lock the card, while injuries and rewrites force nonstop changes behind the scenes. We break down the latest and the greatest in WWE news, WWE rumors, and breaking news, and why Brock Lesnar, at this point, at this stage, reportedly has no clear opponent despite the open challenge, and the talk that Jacob Fatu has serious backstage momentum for a push towards the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. Plus, reports of a WrestleMania schedule shift in Las Vegas. AJ Styles signing a quiet new deal tied to a backstage role in the WWE following his retirement in the company, and the emotional final rumors involving an 83-year-old WWE Hall of Famer stepping back into the ring again. And that is just the start. That is just the beginning of Sean's View Entertainment as we're going to dive deep into this explosive report. Forget everything you knew about WrestleMania because the entire foundation of WWE is completely collapsing right before our eyes. What is happening right now in Stamford, Connecticut is not a storyline. It is a full-blown, real circle corporate panic, and Triple H is rapidly losing control of the biggest event of the year, WrestleMania. According to a massive breaking report from WrestleVotes Radio, original plans for WrestleMania 42 have been completely destroyed. Injuries, backstage politics, and constant creative changes have thrown the two-night spectacular in Las Vegas into absolute chaos. Company leadership is trapped in nonstop closed-doors meetings at this moment. We are talking about severe internal urgency. Joey Votes confirmed that the word, one of the insiders, that's his name, confirmed the word panic is actually underselling the nightmare happening right now inside WWE headquarters. They have no finalized card. They are scrambling to rewrite the scripts, and top superstars are left completely in the dark. Today, we will dive deep into the massive WWE news and rumors. We have reports about Brock Lesnar having no creative direction for WrestleMania, leaving his massive return in jeopardy. Meanwhile, Jacob Fatu again is receiving unprecedented backstage support to hijack the main event and fight for the WWE title. And we add in a real-life injury to Bronson Reed, forcing an emergency finish change on Monday Night Raw. And a highly controversial WrestleMania time change. We have the biggest, most explosive video of the month right here and right now towards the end of the month. Now, if you want the unfiltered truth about the chaos happening behind closed doors at WWE headquarters and all the backstage for over a decade, for over 10 years, I have been giving you the latest, the greatest, the newest, the most definitive, and the most unapologetic. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and hype up the video, and make sure that that bell notification is turned on. We are going to go deep into this report today, guys. You will not, I repeat, you cannot afford to miss this episode, or some would call it a webisode. Let's start with the absolute disaster happening in WWE headquarters right now at this hour and at this time. For the last decade, WrestleMania matches have always been locked in months in advance. The graphics are made, the storylines are mapped out, and the merchandise is printed. Not this year. The report from WrestleVote states that the executives are handing out constant updates left and right, trying to salvage the Las Vegas card. Triple H's creative era is facing its absolute biggest test, and right now, the walls are caving in. And when you have top executives admitting that panic is an understatement, you know the situation is absolutely nuclear. Why is this happening, though? What is going on? Well, Triple H is trying to balance long-term storytelling with two philosophies that are violently clashing. The results? A WrestleMania card that looks like a giant blank piece of paper with less than 2 months to go. Superstars are reportedly incredibly frustrated, walking on eggshells backstage because nobody knows if their WrestleMania paycheck is actually safe. And nobody represents this backstage chaos more than the Beast incarnate. Again, nobody represents this backstage carnage more than Brock Lesnar. Brock made his return. The crowd went absolutely nuclear, and it looked like WWE had a golden ticket for WrestleMania 42. But here is the massive, undeniable problem. WWE Creative has absolutely no idea what to do with him. How do you not know what to do with a Brock Lesnar? How do you not know how to plan him, how to strategize him, what kind of match you have lined up for him? WrestleVotes Radio just dropped a bombshell that the creative team is completely frozen on Lesnar's long-term plans. The segment that they shot for his return actually raised major red flags internally because there was no follow-up mapped out. You do not bring back a multi-million-dollar attraction and former UFC champion like Brock Lesnar just to wing it. The rumor is that Brock's original massive opponent fell through, and now he is sitting on the sidelines while Triple H scrambles to find someone believable enough to step in the ring with him in Vegas. If they don't figure this out in the next 2 weeks, we could be looking at a WrestleMania where Brock Lesnar is either thrown into a meaningless mid-card match or worse, he gets pulled from the card entirely. Now, we saw what happened last year when Randy Orton was, reduced to an open challenge. We know Joe Hendry, TNA's Joe Hendry, who is the current reigning NXT champion, stepped up to the plate. You got to wonder, will Joe Hendry answer the challenge of Brock Lesnar this year at WrestleMania? But guys, obviously this is thrown into flux. The WWE are just hoping that whatever sticks is going to work, but I don't even think anything's sticking right now. Now, while Lesnar's plans are dead in the water, another massive superstar is rising from the ashes of this creative meltdown. Jacob Fatu. While the original main event fallen apart, reports are confirming that Fatu has immense top-level support backstage to get a WWE title match at WrestleMania 42. Now listen, viewers, honestly, listen to me very closely. This is not just an internet rumor. Executives are looking at the massive reaction that Fatu is getting. They are looking at the gaping holes in the WrestleMania card, and they are pulling the trigger. The Bloodline Enforcer might completely bypass the mid-card and hijack the main event of this year's WrestleMania in Las Vegas. Imagine the absolute shockwave through the WWE Universe if Jacob Fatu, a guy who was just brought in to be a heavy, violently dismantles the champion and takes the gold in Las Vegas from Drew McIntyre. Now remember, it's supposed to be a multi-man match at WrestleMania. It proves that during this backstage panic, Triple H is desperate enough to take massive risks. Now, if Fatu gets the title match, it means someone else, a massive top star, is losing their spot on the grandest stage of them all. Now, before we get into the brutal injury that forced WWE to rewrite Raw and AJ Styles' new contract, I want to give a massive shout out to our channel members. You guys keep showing the entertainment running. Hit that join button for exclusive perks and drop a super thanks in the comment section below. If you support this show around the clock, I will always be here for each and every one of you. Now let's talk about the real-life injuries that are making this panic 10 times worse for the WWE right now at this stage of the game. Now, Bronson Reed just suffered a legitimate injury that completely derailed a major storyline. He was going to be in the Elimination Chamber match. WWE was forced to drastically change the match finish on the fly and completely rewrite the highly anticipated masked man angle. When live television scripts are torn up hours before the show, it bleeds directly into the WrestleMania build. It is a domino effect of pure chaos and bedlam. However, this wasn't written before the show. This storyline, this whole thing with Bronson Reed, was rewritten as the show was on the air, as the WWE had to make a fast pivot. But while the active roster is falling apart, we just got a massive update from PW Insider regarding the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. As of February the 26th, which is, well, today, AJ Styles has officially signed a brand new deal with the WWE, a brand new contract for AJ Styles. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean he's actually going to step back in the ring? Is he going back on his retirement? Well, no, not quite. AJ Styles is binded behind the scenes role. It is a behind the scenes role for a contract for AJ Styles. He is going to be developing new talent, the future of the WWE. We are witnessing the quiet end of an era. AJ Styles is securing his legacy, pulling back from the full-time in-ring grind and preparing to become the ultimate backstage mastermind for the next generation of WWE. And ladies and gentlemen, after all of this backstage scrambling, after all this drama, ladies and gentlemen, there has to be something good, right? There has to be something positive. There has to be something uplifting. Well, this backstage scrambling has led to a massive, unprecedented change at WrestleMania 42 itself. WWE just officially shifted the start time for the Las Vegas WrestleMania event at the Allegiant Stadium at 2:30 p.m. local time on both Saturday and Sunday. Why the massive shift for the start time for WrestleMania? Because the card is a mess, and the WWE would need flexibility for the biggest show of the year. Now, I'll tell you what, say what you want about Vince McMahon, but at least Vince McMahon would have a card ready. He would have superstars in motion. Vince McMahon would have already had the card put together already. barring injury and barring releases and firings and rehirings or what have you, despite all that, Vince McMahon would have had a WrestleMania card already built by the time the Royal Rumble came around, or shortly after the Royal Rumble. Now, by starting in the mid-afternoon, Triple H is buying himself some extra time. It allows them to cram more matches onto the card, extend the kickoff shows, and stretch the event without having stadium curfews. It is the ultimate safety net for a creative team that has no idea how long these matches need to be or how stacked the card is going to be, because, again, the WWE is dealing with a lot of issues right now. Make no mistake about that. And speaking of matches, ladies and gentlemen, we have to respect the absolute legends of the business. WWE Hall of Famer Jimmy Valiant is officially set to step back into the ring for his final match at the tender age of 83. It is going to be a highly emotional, historic moment for a man who paved the way for the superstars of today. Now, the panic in Stanford is absolutely real. Brock Lesnar is in limbo. Jacob Fatu is taking over. AJ Styles is heading backstage, and WrestleMania is starting early just to fill the chaos in. Let's get into the quick take of the day. How should Triple H fix WrestleMania 42? You got 4 options, viewers, fans, and subscribers. 4 options, according to the dirt sheets, the websites, and the newsletters, and Sean View. Give Jacob Fatu the WWE title match is option A. Option B, find Brock Lesnar a massive opponent immediately, option B. You got option C, keep AJ Styles in the ring for one more run, or option D, cancel the 2-night format and make WrestleMania one night. I told you, guys, I told you. It has become extremely vital. It is a warning sign. Will WrestleMania go back to one night? Get down in the comments and let your voice be heard. Smash that like button, subscribe to Sean View, and click the video on your screen for more breaking updates. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those things that you just never saw coming. You thought the developments, you thought that the Defiance, you thought that that WWE would have all their eggs cooked. They would have them all counted. Everything would have been going the WWE's way, but obviously that was not the way it was going to be ultimately. And is this the demise? Is this the demise of WrestleMania right before our very eyes? I can't remember the last time that the WWE was facing so many detriments to themselves. Also, there was a call for Maxine Dupree to be released from the company after her performance on Monday Night Raw against Natalya, a.k.a. Natty. Do you feel that the performance was that bad, that horrible? The girl was knocked out. She went face first into the ring post. What else did you anticipate? What else did you expect? Yeah, the match only went, 10, 15 seconds at that, if that. But that's the thing, viewers. You got to expect the unexpected. Anything can happen in the WWE, especially when you're in that wrestling ring. And when you're in that wrestling ring, again, as much as you're putting on a show, as much as the entertainment is there, as much as value as you're trying to give to the audience, ladies and gentlemen, as much as you're trying to give that aura, sometimes that paranoia sinks in. And right now, the WWE has their backs up against the wall. Speaking about a wall, what are your emotions on Tiffany Stratton revealing why she went public with her relationship to NXT superstar? Also, we are receiving word that we got late breaking news on the late, great Eddie Guerrero. Viva la Raza, ladies and gentlemen. Vicky Guerrero's daughter, Sherilyn, accuses her of exploiting Eddie Guerrero's legacy. Again, Vicky Guerrero's daughter, Sherilyn, accuses her of exploiting Eddie Guerrero's legacy. Well, there's been no doubt in my mind that the WWE from time to time has used storylines and angles to expose and make light of the Eddie Guerrero situation. Also, Warner Brothers Discovery may exit Netflix deal as new offer could change AEW's streaming future. This coming across my desk right now. Again, this is why we do multiple videos a day. Remember to search up my name, Sean View, on YouTube, so you don't miss a moment. Just in case YouTube doesn't send you out the notification, because there are instances where YouTube won't send out the video, but I won't let that happen because AEW's streaming future just took another dramatic turn as Warner Brothers Discovery confirmed a major update that could reshape its merger plans. What does this mean for AEW? What does this mean for the future, the fate of All Elite Wrestling? Well, we're going to get into that right here and right now, and potentially impact where AEW programming lives going forward. What will be the home? What will be the projection of AEW? Will it even have a home? On February the 26th, again, which is today, Warner Brothers Discovery announced that its board of directors has officially determined that the revised acquisition proposal that Paramount Skydance qualifies as a company superior proposal compared to its existing merger agreement with Netflix. The Paramount Skydance offer values Warner Brothers Discovery at $31.00 per share in cash, significantly higher than Netflix's previously agreed $27.75 per share valuation. This now triggers a critical clause in the Netflix merger agreement for AEW. Now, Netflix has been given a 4-business-day window, to revive its offer or revise it to attempt to match or exceed the Paramount Skydance proposal. If Netflix declines or fails to present a better deal, Warner Brothers Discovery would be legally permitted to terminate the Netflix merger agreement entirely. This update represents a major escalation in the battle for control of Warner Brothers Discovery, and it could have even serious implications for AEW's long-term streaming future. Paramount Skydance's revised proposal includes several key financial incentives designed to strengthen its position. In addition to the higher per share cash offer, Paramount Skydance has committed to paying the $2.8 billion termination fee Warner Brothers Discovery would owe Netflix if the Netflix deal is canceled. The proposal would also include a massive $7 billion regulatory termination fee if the deal fails to get to government approval issues, providing additional financial protection to Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders. Warner Brothers Discovery confirmed it has formally notified Netflix of the superior proposal determination. While the Netflix merger agreement remains active for now, the company acknowledged that it could terminate the deal if Paramount Skydance offers remains superior after Netflix match period expires. Under Netflix's original merger plan, Warner Brothers Discovery was expected to spill its cable and sports assets, including TNT Sports, into a separate company, raising concerns that AEW programming could be moved away from premium service platforms like Max. For now, Warner Brothers Discovery's board has not terminated the Netflix deal and continues to officially recommend the Netflix merger. However, the company's acknowledgement that Paramount Skydance offer is superior signals that the situation is rapidly evolving. With Netflix now under pressure to respond within days, the outcome of this corporate battle could determine whether AEW remains tied to Warner Brothers Discovery's current ecosystem or becomes a part of a completely different media structure. Do you think AEW would be better off under a Netflix-controlled Warner Brothers Discovery, or could Paramount Skydance offer a more stable, long-term home for AEW programming? Your thoughts, your comments, your opinions, and your emotions on all of that. We are detailing it. We are not derailing it. And again, guys, I'm not one of those AEW haters. I may not be the biggest AEW fan. Hell, I'm not even, AEW, he's a WWE apologist. Of course he doesn't watch AEW. Of course he doesn't like AEW. Of course he doesn't look up to AEW and give AEW a chance. I've given AEW a chance time in and time again. But I will admit it has gotten a little bit better. The storytelling, the programming, the overall feeling, the overall aura of the show seems a little bit better. But that's not saying much for what the WWE is going through themselves right now at this time. Now, in other news here on Sean's View Entertainment that we got exposed, Liv Morgan is actually addressing sexuality rumors after LGBTQ angle with CJ Perry. Again, Liv Morgan addressing the sexuality rumors after the LGBTQ angle. Obviously, we know Liv Morgan, no matter what side of the fence, no matter where she sways, it was part of an angle. It was part of a storyline. We all know that Liv Morgan is pretty much into guys, into men. I mean, hell, look what she's portraying on WWE TV with the current reigning Intercontinental Champion, Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Also, I don't do spoilers here, but the AEW Collision spoiler results for February the 28th are online right now. You can go read them up and search them up if you want to. Ricochet walks back anti-WWE remarks after trashing company following his exit. Well, because maybe Ricochet realizes that, if AEW goes under, if AEW doesn't have a plan, if AEW doesn't have a network, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? So now, of course, Ricochet is walking back his anti-WWE remarks. That only makes sense. and I hate to even give this guy any airtime, guys, but the so-called badass construction worker that has went viral online calls Brock Lesnar an old piece of crap and demands a WrestleMania match with him. Probably not the right thing to do. And breaking news as it concerns the former WWE Women's Champion title holder, Tiffany Stratton. As Tiffany Stratton admits that WWE injury break was needed after a 302-day title run left her with no time off. And you see, back in the day, that's the thing. During the Hogan era, the Austin era, the Ruthless Aggression era, there was no time off. There was no days to take a breath. It was full on. It was all the time. It was every time. And if you couldn't take it, well, then there was the door. You knew what you were getting yourself into. You knew what you were signing yourself up for. And you knew that you're going to have to put it all on the line to make that something extraordinary. And you're going to have to dedicate your entire life. And only if you had an injury would you be written off or get surgery or have time off to sit home. So, these superstars nowadays, they have it made. You got part-timers. There's not as many live events. There's not as many house shows in this era. So the WWE stars have it a lot easier than they did during the 80s and the 90s. I can assure you of that right now. So they can be very lucky that during the Triple H era, these guys and girls are getting maximum time to rest up and get ready. Also, the Viper, Randy Orton, the RKO himself. Randy Orton explains why he hates that kayfabe is dead. Also, some great news. Again, we got to talk about some positive here, right? Something that has a thumbs up. Penelope Ford injury gets positive update with expected return timeline revealed online. Yes, you heard that right, viewers, fans, and subscribers. New footage, guys. Now, this is big. This is huge. New footage reveals and sheds new light on a third car involved in the Vince McMahon car crash. Now, I understand that this happened months ago, back in the summertime of last year. I get it. But new stuff is coming out. New items, new camera, new work. Body cam footage is being released online, and that is why we are still covering this story somewhat almost a year later. Vince McMahon's July 2025 car crash just got even more complicated because new footage shows that there was actually a third vehicle involved that hadn't been widely discussed. Previously released dashcam video showed Vince McMahon driving his Bentley in his Continental GT Speed at high speeds on Route 15 in Westport, Connecticut, before colliding with a BMW and crashing into a guardrail. But on February the 25, 2026, the Law and Crime Network released additional footage revealing another car was struck by debris from the crash. According to the newly surfaced video, a Ford Fusion was also impacted in the aftermath. And the detail catching attention, the driver was reportedly wearing a WWE t-shirt. The narration in the footage points out the unexpected twist. Some of the debris in the southbound lane struck the Ford Fusion. Ironically, the driver of that car was wearing a WWE t-shirt. Police on the scene made it clear that the vehicle wouldn't be going anywhere under its own power. So we're not going to be driving this anywhere. All right, that's going to have to be towed. Did you see what happened over there? The Ford Fusion driver that described the chaotic moment as debris flew across the highway, he made it clear just how narrowly the situation avoided becoming a lot worse. The footage obviously shows, and the footage closes by confirming that none of the three vehicles were drivable after the incident. All three cars were unable to be driven off the highway and had to be towed from the scene. Your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions on what seemed to be a very turbulent time for Vince McMahon. And sadly and unfortunately, I think, if history serves me correctly, it was also on that same day that the immortal Hulk Hogan, sadly and unfortunately and shockingly, died and passed away. So obviously, that was not something that we were banking or counting on. Now, Bronson Reed's injury on Monday Night Raw has set off a chain reaction that many probably had not considered. And that is, Bronson Reed was going to be a major focal point of WrestleMania. And what about the masked man angle being written off? Maybe the WWE is going to have to, go in a different way. Maybe the WWE is going to have to rethink things. Obviously, the WWE is going to have to go back to the drawing board and see what the hell is going to happen here. There's plenty more to come. We're going to give you the hottest, the latest, the greatest, the newest here on SeanzView Entertainment. If it weren't for you, there would be no SeanzView. Stay tuned because we got more where I'm going to give you the absolute most dynamic, most pivotal, most hostile rumors in WWE. There ain't no other place to be but the brash and the brazen.